Greetings, I'm Pillar Nexus, Ancient Gladiator with more Pillar Loves tabletop games with Megacorps. Game I had long ago, finally found another used copy. The goal of the game is to have the most money at the end. Towards that goal, you'll have your assorted conglomerates. You will buy companies, um, and then you'll try to pay out the industries where you have the advantage. So at the start of the game, there will be two random conglomerates in charge of these countries. Then for every country, the number of countries you have will determine how many event cards you start with. If you own two, you get nothing. If you own zero, you get two. And if you own one, you get one. And then there'll be 2 rounds of players putting their counters on open companies. The industries for the companies are aerospace, biotech, defense, finance, food, media, metals, nanotech, oil, robotics, software, and solar. Some of these matter more than others. You'll discover as you play the game. But once everyone's got their starter companies, the active player will take their first turn. So I'll point out on the money, I'm using my scythe coins because the paper money for this game breaks one of my cardinal rules of game design. If you put paper money into a game, you put plenty of it. There's barely any wiggle room with it. It's probably the only issue I have with the game. But anyway. So, the active player will draw a card from the event deck. This is theirs to do whatever they want. So, greedy kleptocrats, they can play at any time. And then, starting with the active player and going around the table, you take an action. You can buy a company. It costs $4. You put your token there. However, you can be hit with antitrust by the country's owner. So let's say Nintendo wanted another media company. Nokia could say no because they own that one. So they could just settle for taking control of the one here because it's their country. Payout industry. So the payout industry, first we determine number of competitors. Every unowned and syndicalized company counts as one competitor. All of the companies owned by a single player counts as one competitor. And nationalized companies, which result from dictatorships, do not count as a competitor as long as you have at least one other company in that same industry. So here, this one doesn't count because Lenovo has another defense company up here. And then there's the very helpful chart at the bottom. So every individual company will get that many euros based on the number of competitors. So media has 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 competitors, €4 a piece. So non-Nintendo will get 8. Windows gets 4. The Asteroid and L5 companies don't exist at the start of the game, so they're not treated as a competitor. If you take the payout industry action for the round, 1, no one else can pay out an industry that round, and 2, you take this. While you have it on future rounds, you're not allowed to take the payout industry action, even if other players pass on the opportunity to do it. You can't do it twice in a row. You can buy mercenaries as an action. Start of the game, you'll start out with a mercenary. The game has a decent number of tokens, but I figure the extra government tokens that aren't going to be used by the event cards could be used for spare mercenaries. You buy them from defense companies. If you own it, if you own a defense company, you get a mercenary for free. Unowned, nationalized, and syndicalized gets you a one mercenary at the cost of one euro, or 1 billion euros, whatever. If someone else has a company, like let's say Lenovo is going to buy mercenaries, they're going to get their one. They can deal with this player to either get them like for one or for free, or they can be a jerk and charge out the ass for him. So I wouldn't blame them for doing. There will be a card that will also open up biotech companies for mercenaries, so be aware of that. Another action is government intervention. So the governments are a kleptocracy. If, let's say, someone was in control of Great Russia and they wanted to do their government action, they just straight up take control of another company there. No recompense, they're just screwed. Okay, we'll set that. If it's a dictatorship, they can nationalize one of the companies there. So let's say someone had a company in their country, they can nationalize it. And then that again follows with the competitors rule. And finally, there's democracy, where you can kick someone out of the country, but they get $4. A forced investment. Actually, there is one last government type that does not start in the game, called wiki syndicalism. Not even the designer knows what it is. It's just a hopeful idea. But where it is, the country owner can kick someone out of the country, give them $4, and then the company is syndicalized. It's a permanent competitor. So that industry is going to be kind of hard to make the most of. Anyway. Now, it's worth keeping those government interventions in mind, because the next action is launch war. So, let's say we've got ASEAN with one force and European Union with 2 force for Mokia. And they have mercenaries, so there's 4. They could go attack a country with, less defense to take it over. If that country is owned by another player, they're going to apply their mercenaries to defend. Other players can contribute to either side by giving or selling mercenaries. And then if the attacking side is higher than the defending side, the attacker wins. If the defense had no mercenaries, the attacker will lose 1. If the defense also had mercenaries, the lower side is wiped out and the bigger side loses that much. If you take over someone else's country, you can perform that government action of that country's type against that player in that country. If you attack and you fail, the defender gets to take action against your company in that country, if any. Alternatively, you can just pass. Sometimes options suck, so it happens. But everyone will take their one action, and then the active player card goes to the left, The game continues on until this deck of cards runs out. It'll be an even number, or it'll be a number so that everyone gets the same amount of turns. And so that everyone has this gets to be active player the same number of times over the course of the game. So this is 6 players, so each player is going to have 2 chances to be active player. Other things that can happen in the game are auctions, where you'll bid money for control of something. Elections, which go off media. And just other cards like taking things over, making industries pay out, affecting the competitor's number, opening up Asteroid in L5, which requires an aerospace. At the end of the game, all the industries will pay out one last time. And then the most money wins. There's no listed tiebreaker, but my solution is you count up your combined force plus your remaining mercenaries, and the highest should win. But that's just my idea. Why the hell do I like this game? It's just silly. It's ridiculous. It's tongue-in-cheek. It's satirical. It's the product of its time. This game was released in 2009. Keep that history in mind if you're checking this game out for the kind of mindset people might be in during that. But I do think it is a solid strategy game. It is. It's a lot of trying to corner the industries to get more money out of it, and just interacting with players in a way that's kind of hilarious. The designer for this game is Greg Kostikian, and if the name rings a bell, you might be familiar with another game, tabletop RPG called Paranoia. That's one I want to personally check out myself later on down the road. But for now, I've got this game, and this game's cool. So, thank you very much for watching. This has been Pillar. I'll see you next time.